Now, Mina Kimes comes out with her NFL quarterback draft, where she ranks all 32 quarterbacks. It's her and some guy, Colin something, or forgive me if I'm wrong, some bozo, right? Now, they're up there, and they're talking now. Don't get me wrong, all right? I really like Mina Kimes, all right? I almost was going to say that I love Mina Kimes, right? She's very unique. She has her own personality. She brings her own flair to the game. She's very nerdy around sports, and it works for her, you know? And she's one of my favorite female sports commentators. She's actually one of my favorite sports writers, commentators, reporters, whatever you want to call her, right? All right? And I do think she gives really good thought. She definitely brings in a lot of stats and statistics. She looks at a lot of different metrics that maybe some of us may not look at, right? Like they got a DVOA is one of the things that she loves, you know, EPA, you know, yards per this. And this. I mean, and it all makes very good sense, right? But there's some stats that, you know, there's some factors that we just don't factor in. Either way, right? The big conversation has been around the top four, the big four, as some call it, right? And in large part, the big four has been in some kind of order, no matter how you rank it. They all start with Patrick Mahomes, number one. Okay, let's start there. Okay, like homage to Patrick Mahomes. The Eagles did just trounce him. Jalen Hurts is 2-1 against Patrick Mahomes, or maybe I believe 2-1 against Patrick Mahomes. I know the last time they played in the regular season in Kansas City, Jalen Hurts beat them after they lost to them in the Super Bowl. And then I know that when they saw them in the Super Bowl, they beat the snot out of them when they saw them in the Super Bowl again, right? Now, they'll go to Kansas City again, and they'll battle it out again, all right? Now, if Jalen Hurts wins that game and he's 3-1 against Patrick Mahomes, that'll be a conversation for another time, right? We'll save that one for another time, right? Now, the order of the big four, Patrick Mahomes, right? Not in no order, but Patrick Mahomes, number one, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow, right? You know, I can almost say I have no qualms with that, right? Like I got eyes, right? Forget the metrics, forget the statistics, right? My eyes say Joe Burrow is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He's one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen play college football, period, right? Lamar Jackson, two-time MVP, right? How could you not say he's one of the top quarterbacks in the league, right? Now, whether he's 4, 3, that could be up for debate. We know he's not number one, right? And maybe he could even be number 2, depending on who you're talking to, right? Josh Allen, right? Josh Allen has done his thing. He's been doing his thing, right? He's probably the only quarterback that has gone toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes and been able to say that he's just as good as him or should have beat him, right? Now, the question has been, who is your number 5 quarterback? I mean, it's all over social media. It's all over YouTube. Everybody's doing a podcast on it. It doesn't matter who. Everybody wants to know who is the number 5. Some people want to know, should it be Jalen Hurts, right? Some people are saying, Justin Herbert. Some people are, which is really crazy. Some people are saying, which is even more crazy, is Jayden Daniels. And that's the situation we have here. So Mina Kimes and this guy, they come out, right? And at first they're in pretty much in lockstep, right? You can switch up the order, right? But Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and then Lamar Jackson, right? But this guy picks Jayden Daniels as the number 5 quarterback in the league right now. Now they're saying that this is over a 3-year span. However, Jayden Daniels has only played 1 year. So what are they doing? They're trying to project out the next 3 years, right? All right. Now, to give Mina Kimes credit, right? Mina Kimes actually had Jayden Daniels as her number 6 quarterback. This guy had her at number 5, which to me is still ridiculous, right? Now, I mean, like we had C.J. Stroud, who did come in at number 7, right? I'll put that on there. C.J. Stroud did come in at number 7, right? But at number 6, let me just tell you, it was Justin Herbert, all right? And then at number 8, it was Dak Prescott, right? And then at number 9, it was Jordan freaking Love. And then at number 10, it was Jalen Hurts. Like, can the disrespect of Jalen Hurts stop, right? Now, is Jayden Daniels out of 1 year? Now, is he all of a sudden the best quarterback in the NFC? He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Like, the team won 5 one-score games. Two games at the very end of the game, one on a Hail Mary, right? Then they got to play the Bucks, right? Baker Mayfield, come on now. Baker Mayfield doesn't make that mistake at the end of the game. The Washington Commanders don't even have this story. Then they go to Detroit and play Detroit, a depleted team on defense, right? They gave up so many points to them. Jared Goff had to keep trying to push the ball downfield and play outside of a pace that he wanted to play at because his defense just kept giving up points, right? Then they get to Philadelphia and get tranced and get swallowed. Pause. Okay, right? Now let's keep in mind, right? Jayden Daniels, right, is 1-2 against Jalen Hurts, but with a caveat, he's really 0-2 against Jalen Hurts because in that second game that they played in Washington that I was at, Jalen Hurts went out in the first quarter, early in the first quarter, halfway through the first quarter, with a concussion. And the Philadelphia Eagles still almost won that game. Yes, Jayden Daniels had 5 touchdowns in that game in a comeback effort, right? Why? Because there was no Jalen Hurts, right? Understand that, yes. But people say, Jalen Hurts doesn't play defense. No, Jalen Hurts doesn't play defense. But you know what he does do? He controls the ball, right? He controls the tempo. He controls the offense. He makes audibles. He checks out of plays, right? He gets us in the right position. He picks up the first down with his legs if he needs to. He makes the big throws if he needs to. We run the ball. We control the clock. We don't allow you that many opportunities that we allowed the Washington Commanders to try to go down there and score while they was going all 4 downs in that game, by the way. But they won the game against Kenny Pickett. So whatever. All right. But let me give you some stats right here. Let me give you some numbers, all right? Because this is about numbers, right? And I'm sick of the disrespect around Jalen Hurts. I mean, listen, I'm about to be the Jalen Hurts fan club, right? Because this is just ridiculous. To say that Jalen Hurts doesn't belong in the top 5, right? There's no one that can argue that Jalen Hurts is not a top 10 quarterback, right? But to say that a guy with 2 Super Bowl appearances and 1 Super Bowl MVP, to say that a guy who very quite frankly should and could have been a Super Bowl MVP in a losing effort. He played the best game of any quarterback in Super Bowl history, right? I'm not making this up. This is not just conjecture. This is real. Okay, I understand that what Jalen Hurts has been able to do here in his last 4 seasons as a starter, right? Made the playoffs all 4 years, went 9-8. The team was 4-12 the year he got there, right? And he only got to play the last couple games, right? And we all know what happened. Doug Peterson said, let Nate Teffield come in. We don't know what was going on, whatever, right? But the very next year, goes 9-8, goes to the playoffs, loses to Tom Brady, comes back again, right? And you know what they do? They go to the Super Bowl. They lose the Super Bowl in a game they should have won. They come back the next year. Most teams go into a Super Bowl slump early. They don't even make the playoffs. The Eagles, 10-1, right? Turmoil inside, 2 defensive coordinators. We had to fire our offensive coordinator, right, who just maybe not was ready for that job, right, and just became too plain, too mundane, too stale, and we just became too predictable, and it just folded on us at the end of the season, right? The very next season, my man gets back to the Super Bowl and avenges his loss against not only just any team, but a team that was going for a dynasty. But let me give you some numbers on Jalen Hurts real quick, right? And why he does belong in the top 4. Because the debate is maybe he's in the top 5, maybe he's in the top 10, right? No, Jalen Hurts should be in the top 4. Now, I don't know who you want to put out. You want to put out Lamar Jackson? Be my guest. You want to put out Joe Burrow, a quarterback that's missed the playoffs 3 out of 5 years? Jalen Hurts made the playoffs 4 for 4. About to be 5 for 5, believe that. Okay? Now, Jalen Hurts versus the AFC, right? Now, for a long time, it's just been a notion that the AFC, right, is a stronger conference than the NFC, right? It's kind of like, in the NBA, right? The Western Conference is stronger than the Eastern Conference, right? So they say, right? Jalen Hurts versus the AFC. 14-1 record. 14-1, right? 40 touchdowns, 106.7 passer rate. 14-1 against the AFC. That's all your favorite teams in the AFC. That's all your favorite quarterbacks in the AFC. That's Joe Burrow, check. That's Lamar Jackson, check. That's Josh Allen, check. That's Patrick Mahomes, check, check. Right? Okay? Only quarterback out of them that's beat Jalen Hurts is Patrick Mahomes. Lamar Jackson's not beat Jalen Hurts. Josh Allen has not beat Jalen Hurts. Oh, and they played. All right. Did I say Lamar Jackson? Right? Joe Burrow ain't beat Jalen Hurts. In fact, Jalen Hurts went into the Queen City last year and smacked Cincinnati. Right? Look at this. Most touchdowns, passing and rushing, okay, between these top quarterbacks right here, right? Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson's not even on this graphic. Jalen Hurts, 105 touchdowns, right? Only one that's got more touchdowns than him is Josh Allen. That's because for a couple seasons, they was just let Josh Allen just throw the ball all over the daggone place. So they say, whoa. We can't be having him throw the ball all the time. We need to come down on his turnovers. We need to play a little bit more ball control offense, and we need to, rely on the defense to make some stops, right? Because that's the way to win. But they take that away from Jalen Hurts. But okay, let me just keep on going into the stats, right? Jalen Hurts versus Patrick Mahomes in 2 Super Bowls. More passing yards, more rushing yards, more total TDs, less turnovers, same amount of wins, right? Well, we're going to see a rematch. We might not see a rematch this year. Well, we're going to see a rematch again, right? I got another one. For all the guys, all the people out there that say Jalen Hurts, right, doesn't throw the ball or can't throw the ball, right? Listen, did you know this? Did you know this, right? And how does this factor into your equation? Did you know that Jalen Hurts, did you know that he's 11-2 when he's attempted more than 35 pass attempts since 2022? 11-2, and he throws the ball 35 or more times. How many of your favorite quarterbacks are 11-2 when they throw the ball 35 or more times? How many of your favorite quarterbacks have the record that Jalen Hurts has? Everybody wants to make the excuse or say that, Jalen Hurts has this and Jalen Hurts has that, or he doesn't do this. Y'all don't watch the games. You watch the highlights. You only remember some of the bad games. You don't remember all the games that the Eagles were just dominating teams. Well, how did they just dominate the teams? How did they just beat these teams by 3 scores, right? Or 2 and 3 scores, 2 and 3 possessions? How did they do it? Right? QB1. Understand that. QB1. Right? So, Jayden Daniels, the best quarterback in the NFC East? Preposterous. Ridiculous. C.J. Stroud made the playoffs 2 years in a row. Right? Took that Texas team that no one had any hopes for and took them straight to the playoffs, came right back and took them to the playoffs again with a depleted roster. He didn't have his top receivers all year long. He had a bad offensive line, so much so that they traded 2 of their guys. One of those guys ended up in Washington. And now we're just thinking that Jayden Daniels and the Washington Commanders are just going to have this awesome, great season. Right? I hope they do. Right? I do. It makes it more entertaining for us when we have to do what we have to do. Right? Dak Prescott. Jayden Daniels lost to a Dakless Dallas Cowboy team last year. Right? I fully expect for Dak Prescott to be back this year, for that Cowboys defense to be humming like we know that it can. And I fully expect that George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb are going to eat this year because Dak Prescott is a good quarterback. Now, under pressure, Dak Prescott's not a good quarterback. We understand that, right? But during a regular season, he's going to dice you up. They're going to get points. They're going to get yards. They're going to put up numbers. So I fully expect for the Commanders to be the number 2 seed in the NFC East right behind your Philadelphia Eagles. And where does that leave Washington? Depends on what the NFC North is looking like. Maybe it depends on what the NFC South is looking like. Maybe it depends on what the NFC West is looking like with those teams. Can Arizona be a little bit better this year? Right? We expect San Francisco to be back this year, right? We know what the Rams are, right? They can get 2 teams out of that division, right? So is it an automatic lock for the Washington Commanders? I mean, it's just not. So what happens if Jayden Daniels doesn't make the playoffs this year, right? And Jalen Hurts does. And like, how can you say that a quarterback that's never beat another quarterback is better than this quarterback when that quarterback has all of these accolades, all of these numbers, has done all these things, and minakimes and this bozo said this was taken in 3 years. Well, Jalen Hurts has been to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years, one without Saquon Barkley. You know? It's just ridiculous, man. Comment, subscribe, like. Let me know what it is, man. How do y'all feeling about this? Is Jayden Daniels the best quarterback in the NFC East? You know what I think. It's your boy TK the Official, and this is TK Sports Talk. Next time.